Hi, everyone, and welcome again to the Real Estate Investing Foundation with Jason and Peely. This is podcast number 145, and it is Multifamily Mondays.
Happy Monday, everybody. Episode 145, which that went quick. Here we are. And if we look back at the early days, well, I just won't, because I'm sure they were horrible. But we've made it. And thank you for continuing to chime in. Your feedback has been amazing. And again, if you like what you hear, go to over to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating and review. And we always appreciate your time and for checking us out.
So grateful.
So today we're going to just recap on why multifamily. Peely and I, we had some smaller duplexes out of state, duplexes and triplexes over in Indiana a few years back, and they were doing well. And we were just surprised how relatively low effort they had become for us, and they were giving us a ton of cash flow. And sure, we could have timed the market right. There was a bunch of things that have possibly had worked in our favor. We took the action. We had a team out there. We had set them up. We had a third-party management. We were managing them. And it just occurred to us that if we were doing these and making good cash flow on smaller properties, 2-3 units, and it was able to give us this cash flow off with really just low to moderate effort from our side, besides just really keeping on and making sure we're managing the manager, which can be a whole different podcast that we can focus on another time.
That'll be next week.
But for us, it just kind of was an epiphany of, wow, how about, we actually go and try this on a larger scale. So just did everything I could for myself to go out there and learn as much as I can about buying apartment buildings. And there's a ton of resources out there, a ton of people in the industry, a ton of people talking, a ton of people that have been doing this forever. So we weren't reinventing the wheel. We were just trying to understand the different models. And ideally, it could be as simple as just going out there and finding an apartment complex, knocking on the door, saying, hey, Mr. Seller, do you want to sell? Or you could go as far as to make broker connections and find other properties and syndicate it, basically pool money from investors so you can all benefit from the economies of scale buying larger apartments. Well, that was the model that we ended up focusing on for a number of reasons. We wanted to be able to leverage resources to be able to get the largest complex possible, that we could afford to have a proper third-party management. We could afford to have a full-time staff. We could afford from the tax advantages, the cash flow, the financing structures that we could come under for this. And when you talk about financing, if we had a fiveplex and we were one person vacant on, or one unit vacant on the property, we would basically be 80% occupied, and that will actually dictate possibly the type of financing we were able to look after. However, if we had 1 or 10 units vacant on 100 units, well, we were still 90% or 99% occupied, and then we could basically qualify for a whole different type of financing to help us. Beyond that, we were really looking at the cash flow model. As we were able to grow and scale and have larger complexes, the cash flow model actually worked better for us because we were able to leverage having full-time staff, full-time maintenance, full-time leasing person, full-time staff around us to be able to allow us to really just keep it cost effective. And that's worked very well. Lastly, we were able to take on third-party management. And this is important for anyone who wants to get into multifamily properties, is that you definitely, even if you are going to manage yourself, you may not want to manage it forever. We see a lot of people want to get out of it now because they're sick of managing properties, because all it takes is one bad tenant to really just throw it a different way for you. And, God bless those property managers out there because they
handle everything.
They handle everything, and they like to do this, which can be a whole different story, that they actually set up to be able to handle multiple units. So using a third-party management company, property management company, we're actually able to efficiently manage a property that's 1,000 miles away. Whereas if I was trying to do that for myself, it would not be a comfortable environment for me. And I also wouldn't feel comfortable pitching this to other investors around us, because how could I actually do a great job finding an apartment building that was not in our current market? We also started to look out of our core market here in New Jersey, because the metrics actually made more sense when we were looking in the Midwest than it did in New Jersey. We're able to get more bang for our buck, a better return, and for us, what felt like a more stabilized asset in regards to just the tenant base and the type of quality building that we were looking to buy. Thoughts?
Well, I was just going to recap on just basically on why multifamily. I mean, Jason just gave you a whole slew of information right there. But really, when it comes down to it, the reason why we got into multifamily is for the longer play. So Jason and I also flip homes. We flip homes. We have smaller buy and holds here in New Jersey. And we did start off with 2 duplexes in Indiana, which definitely gave us the courage, at least gave me the courage when Jason and I decided to venture into larger multifamily.
Scale up, yep.
To scale up. So it's really going after that long-term play. So while a flip may take you, for an easier flip, may take you 2 to 3 months, get it on market, sell it, done. Large multifamily, that's years. The property that we have it under, we have the play for like 7 to 10 years right now.
It's a 7-year hold strategy, correct?
So it's a 7-year hold. So this is a long-term play. This is mailbox money, and we want to keep on doing this. So that's the reason why we got into it.
That said, being a long-term play, you have to make sure you definitely buy right, because you don't want to have something that you're bleeding from day one on. Well, this is Jason and Peely with the Real Estate Investing Foundation podcast, Multifamily Monday. Thank you for stopping by and checking out today's episode. And again, check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/the Real Estate Investing Foundation podcast, and go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating and review.
Thank you so much. So very grateful. Talk to y'all later. Bye now.